May 2, 1968, the Cambodian border. A 12-man Special Forces recon team is pinned down, surrounded, and dying. The rescue helicopter that went in to pull them out was driven back by enemy fire. A second attempt failed. Command was preparing to call it to leave those men behind. Then a sergeant grabbed a medical bag, jumped onto a departing helicopter without orders, and inserted himself into the most violent firefight of the Vietnam War. He had no weapon. He was not supposed to be there. And by the time it was over, the enemy would count him among the dead. They were wrong. Roy Benavidez was born August 5, 1935 in Cuero, Texas, a small town southeast of San Antonio. His early life was defined by hardship. His father died when Roy was 2, his mother when he was 7. He and his brother were taken in by his aunt and uncle in El Campo, Texas, a family of migrant farm workers. Roy picked crops as a child. He shined shoes. He dropped out of school in 7th grade to help support the family. By his own account, he was heading nowhere fast. Until at age 17, he walked into a recruiter's office and enlisted in the United States Army. The military gave Roy Benavidez something he had never had: structure, purpose, brotherhood. He excelled. He eventually earned his Green Beret and joined the Special Forces, the most elite soldiers the Army had. But in 1965, his story almost ended before it began. While on patrol in Vietnam, Benavidez stepped on a landmine. The blast shattered his legs. Doctors told him he would never walk again. Roy Benavidez refused to accept that. He got out of bed at night, in secret, and taught himself to walk again, crawling to a wall and pulling himself upright, night after night, in pain, alone. He returned to full duty. He went back to Vietnam, and on May 2, 1968, he would have his date with history. In the spring of 1968, a 12-man Special Forces recon team was inserted into the jungle near the Cambodian border on a classified intelligence mission. Almost immediately, they walked into a North Vietnamese Army regiment, hundreds of enemy soldiers. The team was decimated within minutes, pinned down in a small clearing, taking casualties, running low on ammunition, unable to move. 2 helicopter attempts to extract them were driven back by the volume of enemy fire. The situation was declared unextractable. At FOB Loc Ninh, Sergeant Roy Benavidez heard the radio transmissions. He heard the voices of men he knew dying in that jungle. He grabbed a medical bag. He jumped aboard a returning helicopter. Nobody ordered him to go. He went anyway. What happened over the next 6 hours has been described by military historians as perhaps the single most extraordinary act of individual valor in the history of American special operations. The helicopter couldn't land. Benavidez jumped from the hovering aircraft into the clearing, immediately taking fire. He was hit almost instantly, bullets in his leg. He kept moving. He reached the survivors, several already dead, others critically wounded. He began moving men toward the helicopter under direct enemy fire, making multiple trips across open ground while being shot at from every direction. He was hit again, in the stomach. He kept moving. He organized the survivors, called in airstrikes, coordinated the evacuation by radio while simultaneously fighting off enemy soldiers at close range. At one point, an enemy soldier hit him in the face with a rifle butt and stabbed him with a bayonet. Benavidez killed him with his own knife. By the time the last man was loaded onto the helicopter, Roy Benavidez had been shot 7 times, stabbed multiple times, and had taken grenade shrapnel to his face, head, and body. He had rescued 8 men. When they pulled him out of that jungle and laid him next to the other casualties, a doctor examined him and called it, declared him dead. Roy Benavidez, conscious the entire time, spit blood in the doctor's face to prove otherwise. Benavidez survived. Barely. He spent over a year recovering from his wounds. His actions that day were so extraordinary that eyewitnesses struggled to describe them in official reports. The paperwork required to nominate him for the Medal of Honor was lost. For over a decade, Roy Benavidez received no recognition for what he did on May 2, 1968. It wasn't until a fellow soldier tracked down witnesses and pushed the Army to reopen the case that the nomination moved forward. On February 24, 1981, 13 years after the battle, President Ronald Reagan presented Roy Benavidez with the Medal of Honor. At the ceremony, Reagan turned to the press and said, "If the story of his heroism were a movie script, you would not believe it." He wasn't wrong. Roy Benavidez passed away on November 29, 1998 in San Antonio, Texas. He spent his post-military years visiting schools, talking to kids, particularly kids who reminded him of himself, poor, struggling, feeling like they had no future. He told them what the Army told him, that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. The man they declared dead in a jungle clearing in 1968 spent the next 30 years proving exactly that. This has been Debrief Unknown. Some stories don't need to be classified to be forgotten. We just have to make sure they aren't.